Hey guys, just realized that I haven't really done a video to you guys in a while. So hi, I miss you. I had so much fun at Debrief, PVT, and the little time that I was spent with a few of you guys in Turkey. So yeah, just a couple things I wanted to share that are on my heart that I'm also then linking them to the next journey marker that I just sent you guys. And this has actually been something that a couple days have been wanting to share. Um, One of the things that I got on from some feedback was to share more of my stories or just share more of what I guess is going on in my life and how God is using me. So I wanted to share of my experience. So after I left you guys in Turkey from Ankara, I went to Hatay and did a couple days with actually Islam's parents. Remember, him came and spoke to us at Debrief. So I was hanging out with his parents who are Ems there in Turkey. And it was a really awesome time. Got refreshed, got to really see how, really honestly the persecuted church and how they operate and function in Ems there, and just a lot of things of their reality, which was awesome. Um, but on the way back, I was in the bus driving to the airport, going to the airport from their house, and I just like hurt. My heart started hurting for all the people that I was seeing pass by, and just that they don't know Jesus. And there's so many people here, and so many of them don't know Jesus. And so, really, honestly, I actually got kind of sad. Not, depressed is too big of a word, but I grieved and I was sad, and I also was kind of mad at God. I'm kind of like, your plan sucks. Like, your plan is stupid. It's wrong. I can't believe this. All these people, don't know you. Um, and so I was getting onto the plane, actually, kind of still in this state of compassion, but then also still sadness. And then I was gonna put in my headphones, and I felt like God was like, "Don't put in your headphones." I was like, "Okay." Maybe the person next to you was gonna speak English, and so sure enough, the person next to me spoke English. His name was Bulant. He was probably in his 60s. He was a doctor. And pretty high, about to retire in 2 months, and pretty like, he was like director of the doctor, whatever it is. And anyway, so he actually mentioned how his throat was hurting and he has laryngitis for 2 weeks, and he's like, "I'm a doctor and I can't get rid of it. Like, oh, I've done everything." And in my head, I was just like, God, you gotta heal him. Like, I just knew. And just like, and that's not always how it is for when I, try to pray for people or anything or ask, but it was just like, okay, God, I see what you're doing. And then later on in the conversation, I like brought it up, and I was like, we're talking about wine. And I was like, hey, I want you to be able to drink wine, because he couldn't, because he was sick. So look, can I pray for, your throat? Like, I pray for people, and Jesus heals them and all that jazz. So I prayed for him, asked him how he felt. He's like, I don't know, we'll see. We started talking about religion and God and all these sorts of things, and it was a really great conversation. Got to share a lot of my story and just what God has done in my life. And through our conversation, all of a sudden he paused. He goes, "My throat is better. Like, it's fine. Usually when I'm talking too much, it hurts, but it's totally fine." Yeah, God, love it. And then we actually ended up getting on the same bus after that flight. So in Istanbul, we got on the bus together, sat next to each other, continued to talk for another hour or so on the bus. And I got at least 2 more times on the bus, mid his talking, he would say, "Oh, my throat is healed. My throat is better. Yay, yay, Jesus." And then I also got to ask to pray for him again. I told him I wanted to pray that Holy Spirit would reveal himself, reveal that Jesus is Lord. And also we were talking about we were talking about shame, we were talking about fear. We got a lot of places. He was telling me his biggest fears in life. A lot of it was to do with loneliness, and like the pressure of performance in this world that is on him as like a high level person. And God was like, just challenge him, like, hey, when you go home, just like you're talking with me, start talking to God, start talking to Jesus, and be like, these are my fears. Like, what do you have to say? Like, where are you? What do you have? And so then I prayed. He said yes. I prayed over him. Afterwards, he was probably quiet for about a good 5 minutes. I could tell that he was gonna cry, or like about teary. And so I just waited, and then after a while he said, that touched my soul. is what he said. And I said, I'm glad, like, he's real. It's not just something we talk about, it's real. So then he left, and I'm praying and I believing that he will know Jesus really by the end of this year, if not now already. So after that, I was actually reflecting on times where I maybe shared or just talked to someone or prayed for someone it was really easy, like whether it was just very fluid on my end to like from what I was doing and not really forced from my life, but then also received and accepted by the other person. And so I really felt like God was highlighting that the times where it was easy and received, it was always out of compassion, like a deep compassion for people and like a love for people, and or right after I was worshiping God. So right after, so like different instances. So in that instances, it was after a deep, like just hurt and compassion and love for people and wanting that. And so like this encounter came after that. And then I was thinking back of other times in my life, or even actually I was just thinking of this year alone, really. Other times where it was easy and so received, and it was after I was worshiping, Sarah was playing the guitar, and we were just like worshiping, waiting for our train, and then my focus on the Lord, oh, he's so good, and excitement of the glory of the goodness of God. And then there's this German lady right there, and I'm like talking to her, and she just received, I got to pray for her, and just all these things. And same thing when I was in on some of my trips last time, and just meeting people. And the common thing that God is pointing out is that when I am focused on others, when I'm focused on him, when I'm focused on and allowing his love and compassion to come out of me, that is when speaking and sharing about God and praying for people, and also that's when healings come and are actually easy instead of, and then also reflecting back on times where I was just like allowed myself to get focused on me, on all the tasky things that I feel like I had to do, just the worries of life to bog me down, where then I either didn't ever share anything, or it was kind of more like, oh, I feel like I should, I remember being in this pool, and there's this guy from London or something. I'm like, oh, I should, talk to him about Jesus or something. But it was fine like that. I'm gonna do that, even if I don't feel like it's coming from, because I should, and it's good. But if I can keep if we can keep our focus on the Lord, on his glory, on giving him praise and glory, and on his love and allowing his love to fill us for others, like if we can actually maintain that and live like that and keep ourselves there, that sort of like ease, and also that sort of reception and acceptance on their part is going to be a lot more often, a lot higher, rather than the times where I'm just like, okay, I feel like I should do this, or I'm not really I've had God highlight. I'm thinking, I was at the DMV getting my Georgia license before I went to Turkey, and God highlighted someone with a neck brace. And I was like, God, not now. Oh my gosh. Like, I'm busy. I have to go to work. I'm like trying to do this real quick before I go to work. I have things to do. I'm busy, And so I also know, like, my reaction is that way because I'm not in the river, and I'm boggled down with life and worry and things to do. And I'm not keeping myself living from a place of rest in him, living from a place of being overflowing of his love. And I know that is the difference. That is the difference when it's awesome, when it's not, when I even am obedient, when I'm not. So yeah, the focus off of me onto him and others really makes a big difference. So obviously our journey marker, it's about love. It is the truth. So much of the truth is that we have nothing without love. And I felt that many times traveling around and being like, God, what do I even have for people? What do I even have to give or to show? And it only is him, and it only is like his love that I have to give. And even also just want to speak a little bit about some people, like, oh, I'm not an evangelist, so this is really hard. Like, yes, it's stretching. It should be. It's not something normal that we are doing every day. And I've said this to someone at one of the debriefs, and they were surprised. And I was like, I do not consider myself evangelist either, or having a gifting of evangelism. I never I never even really shared the gospel on my race because it wasn't a focus and it wasn't something that we did regularly or even sought after. This ability to share and also drive has come as I have grown in knowing God and as I have grown in receiving His love and experiencing Him and desiring others and allowing Him to mold me and become more like Him, so that I have love and compassion for others that I did not have before, that enables me, and I cannot help but share the good news of the gospel. And that is definitely something we see of the early church as well. And even, people like Stephen, who didn't have he was given, you are serving, this is your gifting, this is your calling, this is like your office, but like he was obviously still sharing the gospel and the truth. Beth Moore did a couple studies with her, and I really like her, and she has one on Second Timothy, and she always says like that we are all, as a Christian, called to be effective communicators of the gospel. So this time left on the field, you guys are not looking at it like, oh, I'm just have to be evangelizing, and but it's not my gifting, I'm never gonna do it again. Like, that's actually not what we're all trying to do. We're not trying to all be evangelists for the rest of our life. But what I want to get into your noggins and all of our noggins is being a Christian equals being an effective communicator of the gospel. And sure, some people, maybe it's easier for them and they have that gifting and they're going to target their whole entire lives around that. But even as we go about doing our Father's business and doing what He has given us to do, we will be sharing the good news of the gospel and what Jesus is in our life, because we cannot contain it. Because of the goodness and that love and the stuff that we are receiving every day from Him, we cannot contain it. So with this next couple months, guys, I really just want you to focus on pursuing the Lord with your whole heart, because that is the difference. That is how you sustain later on in your life to continue to be effective communicators of the gospel, is by every day, daily experiencing Him, daily having His impact in your life. That means no matter what you do, no matter where you go, like, you will be daily sharing that with people around you, because you can't help it. It's just so good, and He's there and so present in your life. So know that this is what we're going for. And maybe if you're feeling like talking to people or evangelism is like really challenging, you need to realign and not do it out of a place of feeling of duty, but out of an overflow of what God is doing and the love and the joy that He has given you, and what you're currently experiencing in Him. So yeah, and it's good to stretch ourselves. It was never easy, and it's still not easy for me, but every time I do it, it gets better and better, and every time I do it, I may have more and more of an evangelism gifting, just because of the sheer thing of I just am doing it. And that's actually how, it works in anything else. When you want to be good at sports, or be good at music, or be good at something, without doing it often and a lot, you're not good at it, and you don't have that skill set yet. So yeah, I love you guys. Keep going. Set your eyes on Christ. The only thing I wanted to share more that I'm remembering is I had asked myself when I was with Team Half and Half in Istanbul, in my month 9, what would I have wanted to tell myself in my race month 9? And it was like, get outside, go, do. Month 9 on my race was super awesome. I had an amazing team I was hanging out with, and we were living in an apartment together, and or like a little mini house together, and we had so much fun. And I am really awesome about that part. But then we also then just like stayed in the house and like hung out and had a lot of good community stuff, but there was so much exploring that we could have done and so many seeing of the culture and the community and the people around us. But in our eyes, we were like, oh, we're in the middle of nowhere on this compound. Like there's nothing but plants around, and it's like like a drive to the village. Like there's nothing around, so we never like really went out and did things outside of like our ministry time at the nearby community center where we taught some English. So really get outside, guys, explore. Don't come back with regrets of wanting to like explore and be active like I am going back to my brain and thinking and wishing that I had done as well. Get outside, sit in the beauty, observe, watch the people, and seek God in everything, and seek God where he is and what he's doing and what he wants of you and what he's growing and teaching you. So yeah, love you guys. Mwah. See you in Morocco.